if XO is working for you, as you can see, you know, there's plenty of people out there putting great add-ons to the product, updating it, upgrading it. You see there with Stephen's presentation of fantastic new features. It's alive and well. And if you're happy, we don't like sort of disturbing sleeping babies. And the same with software. It's really working for you, and you can get a little bit more. Keep going if you want to get to the cloud, as we said, XO hosted. But but even so, we also want to make sure that when you think of the next level, next generation for your ERP software, we do really, as you can tell, want you to know that there's a really good life ahead with this next product, MYOB Advanced. And with that, it gives me the greatest pleasure to bring in one of the treasures of our industry. And I don't mean the super absorbent one, Kamaya. I mean, you really are a treasure to the industry. You do these presentations so beautifully for us, and you're an MYOB Advanced expert in business and payroll. But right now, you're going to help the user group of XO user group to have a little sneak peek at what we're talking about in this MYOB Advanced product. So welcome to you.
Thank you, Grant. Right. As Grant mentioned, it's very exciting. So just a sneak peek into MYOB Advanced. Not sure if a lot of you have heard or have seen the product as yet, but we'll give you a quick look around the product. But what I'm going to be focusing on today is more of the customization aspects. So MYOB Advanced has such great tools for you to be able to customize simple features within the system by yourselves, as well as the capabilities to go that step further and do significant customizations to suit your business. All right, so I'll start by looking into attributes and user-defined fields. So this is similar to your extra fields in XO. And then we'll go and look into side panels on something that we call generic inquiries, which is basically a list view of information that we can pull from basically any field or any table within the system. All right, we'll go into business events as well, which is quite a cool feature. It allows us to do a lot of automation in the system. So we can automate emails that we need to send out to our suppliers or customers, or even notifications to make us aware of things that are happening in the system, so that we can be on top of key features and key events. And then lastly, I'll show you an example of custom workflow changes and a customization that was done for one of our clients that's really cool, and just an example to show you what's capable in the system. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. So for those of you who haven't seen Advanced before, so this is when you log in, this is what you'll see, and it's also known as a dashboard, right? So these are available in and can be customized for departments or for particular users. So for example, I can have a sales dashboard, I can have a projects dashboard, we can do finance and CEO dashboards, for example. All right, so it gives you quite a bit of a variety. So you can have scorecards, we can have list views, graphs and charts, as well as embedded pages. So I can actually have an embedded page, web page that I can access directly from my dashboard instead of having to go to an external browser. All right, so as I said, quite customizable. You can set them up for your users, or you can give them the ability to customize it for themselves. Down the bottom here is your navigation pane. So each of the different modules are just set out in workspaces, as you can see, right, which will give you further menu options as well. Right. Now, the really cool thing about Advanced is that you can have multiple databases from the same site, right? So it's nice and easy for you to be able to swap between the databases rather than having to log out and log into a separate database. Okay. In the same way, we can actually have multiple different companies and branches all within the same tenant, as we call them, or database. All right, so it's nice and easy. Another cool feature is the search option. So it has a very cool site-wise search option. Okay, so if I start typing in, and this is as I continue typing, it's going to refine my search, and it gives me the options of menu items. So if I'm looking for a particular screen that I can't remember which workspace is on, I can simply simply search for it and identify it that way. Right, by using the search field, I can also look at transactions and profiles. So a particular transaction or your master records that you're looking for with search key fields, that will also appear here. We've also got the help topics. So anything that you type in here or you're unfamiliar with, you're looking for more information, there is the help topics available here. And lastly, you can also search for your files. So for example, if you know that you've got a file that you've attached to a particular record, you can't recall where you've attached it to, you can simply search for the file name in here as well, and it will take you to the correct place. Okay. Nice and easy. So what I'll do is I'll jump into our extra fields. Okay, so these are known as attributes in MYOB Advanced. Okay, they're nice and easy to create, and they give us different options as well. So we can have text fields, we can have combos, multi-select, checkboxes, date and time, and selectors. All right. So as an example, maybe I want to create an attribute or an extra field for my brands. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll do a combination there. And it's as simple as adding in my values. Yeah. Options. Okay. Now this attribute can then be put onto any of your master records. So your inventory, your customers, suppliers, business accounts, and so forth. All right. You can even do that on fixed assets. So from there, what's nice and easy is a step further where we can actually add these attributes as user-defined fields on our transaction screens. So for example, I'm using the invoice screen where I enter in a customer invoice, and I want to make available some extra fields for my staff to be able to fill in. So I can do that by adding in user-defined fields on here. So if I simply select from my list, right, I can maybe select type of hardware as an example, and it pops it in there. All right, I'll add in another one. Yeah. All right, so I've added it onto the screen, and what you'll see now is a separate tab on the header section of this invoice. Okay, and this I can now use as a selection, and I can add more detail to my invoice. So it's pretty cool there. So that's your first little feature there. Now, secondly, I would like to show you that when we look at our list views or generic inquiries, as we call them, so this is a complete list of all of the invoice transactions in the system currently. Okay, so when I highlight a particular transaction, okay, I am looking at this particular invoice detail here, but perhaps I want to look into this customer. So instead of having to jump into the customer record on a different tab, I can simply use my side panels. So if I click on the customer side panel here, what we'll be able to see is our customer screen right beside our transaction, right? And this is exactly how you would see it if you went directly to the customer screen. Okay, so it makes it nice and easy for you to compare information without having to jump to multiple screens. Okay, in the same way, I can also have customer details, for example. So I'm looking at this particular invoice, but I also want to review what other invoices or documents they have on their account. So again, this will give me a view of further information without having to jump to multiple screens. So it's very handy and quite easy to set up as well. Okay. These generic inquiries are quite handy as well. They work similar to Excel in that you can move fields any way you want. You can filter them quite easily. You can even create permanent filters up the top here and share them with other users, or they can be just for yourself. So moving on to business events. So as I said, business events is a nice, easy way for you to control automation in the system. So the example I'm going to go through is perhaps you've got you want to put your customers on credit hold. Okay, and we've set up a business event to automatically send them, the customer, as well as the salesperson for the customer, a notification when they have been put on credit hold. All right, so if I look for a particular customer, yeah, and I'm going to change the status to credit hold and save this record. Okay, now if I look at my emails in a few minutes, few seconds, there we go, we should see an email created. Okay, so this is an email that has been set up to say that you have been placed on credit hold. This is your outstanding balance, and please get in contact with your sales rep. And as you can see, it's going to the customer, and it has CC'd in the salesperson. Okay, so in a similar way, we have many notifications or business events that can help you on a daily basis. So for example, a common one is if your supplier bank account details have changed, you can get an automatic notification to say so. You can even go for a step further to say that it has been changed from this detail to that detail. Okay, so lots of possibilities in there. All right. So going into a little bit more about customizations, okay, so they can vary from very simple things to quite complex, and it all depends on what your business requires, and I guess in a way how much money you're willing to spend as well. So if we look at the opportunities screen, so your normal statuses in the system are things like new, open, won, and closed, all right? But what we can do is actually take that a step further and customize it to be something that suits you, okay? So for example, instead of just new, we can customize it like it has been here to show you new and with an instruction to say to be emailed. This particular opportunity needs to be emailed. Okay, so if we choose a business account here, put in some details for our opportunity. All right, and we'll save, that in there. All right, so by having our opportunity saved, I can now open this, all right, and it will change to open daily follow-up instead of just open. So again, that's a custom status just to make it yours and to make it something that's going to be relevant to your staff. Okay, in the same way, you can add custom buttons and custom screens. So we've got arrange installation. So for example, in a particular process, you can actually say, okay, I need to send this custom document out to my prospects in order for them to sign or to view. Okay, so there's lots of different opportunities and possibilities. Right. So lastly, what I'll show you is actually a customization that was done for a client, and it's going a bit further from the normal. So with approvals in the system, we can set up emails to be sent when an approval is required in the system. And usually what you do is you'll find a link and you would pop back into the system. You click on the link so that it takes you to the record for you to approve the document. So what we've done is actually customized it so that you have the approve button in your email. So instead of having to click on the link and go into the system, now you can actually approve the document directly from your email. So by clicking this button, it will send the approval off to the system and no further steps are required by you. All right, so similar things, there's lots of opportunities and lots of possibilities in the system for customization. Advanced is well known for being a product that can be easily customized, and it's really handy and good to be able to suit your business. So keep that in mind. All right, so glad that's all for me.
Thanks so much, Kamau. Once again, wonderful as always. And there's some fantastic features in there. And what you were saying there about the automation, which would be the middle name of MYOB Advanced automation, the email that arrives when Kamau was describing that, basically you can approve it inside the email. So it doesn't click to go into the system and log into approve. It can be approved right there on a piece of email. So it could be at the Eiffel Tower and a purchase order has to be approved. I can just do it in the email that came to me. Don't even have to worry about logging into the system.
Be quite concerned if you're approving emails at the Eiffel Tower, but yes, go on. If you really wanted to, sure.